With Zay Flowers absent, Lamar Jackson faces added pressure. Derrick Henry's arrival provides crucial support. The Athletic provides live coverage of the NFL wildcard playoff games between the Steelers vs. Ravens and the Chargers vs. Texans. Derrick Henry watched the Baltimore Ravens' AFC Championship game loss to the Kansas City Chiefs last January from home, wishing he could have been on the field. Had a trade gone through between the Ravens and Tennessee Titans, Henry could have been part of that playoff run, potentially changing the outcome. If anything, Baltimore's painful loss to the Chiefs highlighted the importance of a powerful ground game, as the Ravens only handed the ball off 6 times during their 17-10 defeat. With the playoffs back in sight, the Ravens are determined to show a stronger representation of themselves. On Saturday night, they'll face their AFC North rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, at M&T Bank Stadium in hopes of taking the first step toward a Super Bowl. The Ravens bring plenty of playoff history with them, but now, with Henry in the backfield, they have a 6'3", 247-pound player who embodies the type of physical football that thrives in January. He is expected to take some pressure off quarterback Lamar Jackson. "It's great to have a great back," said Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. "It's going to be a big part of our approach in the playoffs." Jackson enters the postseason after another MVP-caliber season, but questions still remain about his ability to replicate or exceed his regular season form in the playoffs. On Saturday, he'll face a Steelers defense that has given him more trouble than any other team. To make matters worse, Jackson will be without his top pass catcher, Zay Flowers, who will miss the wildcard game with a knee injury. Fortunately for the Ravens, Henry, a player brought in specifically for moments like this, will be available. Baltimore is set to kick off the game with temperatures expected to be in the high 20s. Jackson acknowledged the cold weather, but was optimistic. "I'd rather it not be cold, but you say we have Derrick Henry, so that's a bonus," Jackson said. "I don't believe anybody likes hitting in the cold, not even the defenders, especially with a 250-pound, all-muscle running back running downhill at you. I wouldn't want to do it, but it's great for us." After a 1,921-yard, 18-touchdown regular season, Henry is back in the playoffs for the first time since 2021, hoping for a better result than his last playoff appearance in 2019. The Ravens managed Henry's workload early in the season to ensure he was fresh for the stretch run, and the plan has worked. Over his last 3 games, Henry has rushed for 447 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a standout 189-yard performance in a 34-17 victory over the Steelers on December 21. In recent years, the Ravens coaching staff has faced criticism for abandoning the run too easily in key moments. Henry should make it much harder for them to stray from the ground game. "I just wanted to come here to make an impact and be an adding piece to this offense, to this team, to help them get to where they want to go," Henry said Tuesday. This week is a first step. Several key storylines will shape the Ravens' approach heading into the contest. Jackson broke his 4-game losing streak to the Steelers 3 weeks ago, and also silenced critics claiming Pittsburgh's defense has his number. Jackson completed 15 of 23 passes for 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, while rushing for 22 yards. However, Pittsburgh's defense was missing several key players during that game, including defensive end Larry Ogunjobi, cornerbacks Joey Porter Jr. and Dante Jackson, and safety Deshaun Elliott, who could be crucial in stopping Henry and Jackson's run game. Turnovers could be key for a Steelers upset. In their first meeting, the Ravens turned the ball over 3 times, while the Steelers had just 1 turnover. In their second matchup, the Ravens recovered all 3 fumbles they lost and ultimately won the turnover battle. Jackson has had issues with turnovers against Pittsburgh, committing 11 in 6 career starts against them. If the Ravens can protect the ball, they'll have a strong chance. With Flowers out, Rashod Bateman steps into the number 1 receiver role. Bateman has struggled in his career against Pittsburgh, recording just 6 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown in 5 games. But this has been a breakout year for Bateman, and a big performance against Pittsburgh would validate his growth. The Ravens have used multiple personnel groupings this season, particularly heavy formations like 12, 20, 21, and 22 personnel. Given Flowers' absence, it's likely they will use a lot of these looks, with tight end Isaiah likely possibly becoming more involved as a receiver. Pittsburgh's offensive line has been problematic, with starting tackles Dan Moore Jr. and Broderick Jones allowing double-digit sacks. The Ravens, who finished second in the league with 54 sacks, should be in a good position to capitalize on the Steelers' line issues. Wilson has struggled when pressured, with a passer rating of just 43.9 in his last 4 games. These storylines will shape the Ravens' approach as they look to make a deep playoff run.